At First Choice Bank, we know you can't always make it before the bank closes. With our integrated teller, you can talk to a live person as late as 7 p.m. on weekdays and noon on Saturdays. It's not just an ATM, it's an ITM. First Choice Bank, your choice for banking.
When choosing a dentist for our family, Tupelo Smiles was the answer for us. They greet us with warm smiles right when we walk in the door, and they make us feel so welcome. We love Tupelo Smiles.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
Good evening and welcome in here to the Room to Room Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Gabe for Mississippi Live Weather at 10, tracking what should be a calm Tuesday, but that's really the last calm day we'll have because beyond that point, things definitely start to get a bit more interesting, especially by the weekend. But we welcome you and thank you for joining us for Mississippi Live Weather at 10. As we track out those headlines here in the Room to Room Weather Center, we of course are starting with that frigid forecast tonight, translating to a beautiful Tuesday pattern. But beyond that, scattered chances returning midweek. That's going to be in the form of rainfall. But then all eyes are on the weekend. What exactly are we expecting? And of course, you heard Matt and I talk about it at 5 and 6 o'clock. Definitely going to be an interesting pattern and one that we are keeping eyes on because consistency is key right now in those weekend winter weather potentials. My word, what a tongue twister that was. The first 12, 27 degrees by 11 p.m., 24 by 2, and we're in the low 20s to start out our Tuesday. And some temperatures might even get as low as the upper teens. Luckily, wind chill not going to be as much of a factor, only going to be about a 1 to 2 mile an hour breeze, and that's insignificant. So we're not going to see too many impacts with that. So that's going to keep our forecast looking good, but still feeling pretty cold. Despite wind or not, low 20s are still low 20s. 28 degrees being seen there in Alcorn County. Hoping to get a visual there on the horizon of maybe some northern lights. Not seeing anything that's overly visible. So unfortunately, I think our neighbors up north are going to be hogging that and not sharing that with us here in North Mississippi. 28 degrees though, they're sharing some of that northern air, feeling like a frigid forecast overnight. Cleveland getting those breezes out of the north. Those will get a little bit calmer by the morning, so don't worry. Old Glory not going to be gusting in the wind like it is right now. 36 degrees, feeling like 29. It's a little bit more mild out there in Cleveland, and yeah, sure enough, upping to 10 miles an hour as we speak. So that reporting station going to be busy right now, but hopefully getting some calmer conditions as soon as possible. Greenville, same thing, 36 degrees, so a little bit more mild out there in the Delta and up the Mississippi River, but out on the east side of the area, which we'll see here in just a moment, a much calmer pattern and a much cooler forecast. Our Mama Justice Doppler radar not tracking a drop of rainfall, as has been the case all day long. It's just been a dry pattern. High pressure reigning supreme and will continue to drive our forecast overnight and into our Tuesday. Doesn't take long for you to notice where that high pressure is centered, basically right over the top of the Memphis area. And while it is up there towards our northwest, we are still getting that northern flow cycling in some of that continental air, which is that drier and colder air. That's why temperatures are what they are. And we do expect those cold temperatures to stick around all the way throughout our Tuesday. If we look up north, there is a little bit of snowfall. A lot of this is going to be some of the lake effect snow. So being that we don't live near the Great Lakes and our temperatures there's no moisture in the air. Yeah, not exactly getting those snow chances here in North Mississippi, but high pressure keeping the dry conditions around for right now, and that will continue to be our future cast overnight as well. So here we're getting a look 10 p.m. You can see how that high pressure center moves right in on the backside of that front and gives us that dry pattern moving forward. So Tuesday, a beautiful day overall, especially as it is driven by that drier forecast. Those northerly winds still cycling into North Mississippi and allowing for those drier and clear skies to remain in place. So throughout our Tuesday, the extent of what we'll see in the sky, going to be a few high-end cirrus clouds, but other than that, it's going to be pretty clear, allowing for that sunshine to dominate our skies. Excited for that for sure, but we're going to have to enjoy it with several layers as those cold temperatures remain in place. By noontime, even into the early afternoon, we continue to see that moisture push off towards our south, and we're again left with a cold and sunny forecast by the afternoon. So the next 24, we mentioned low 20s, that starting temperature for the day, but as we go about the day, 45 degrees by the afternoon does get slightly better. And as we move into our Tuesday night and Wednesday morning, some of that moisture starts to return to the forecast, gives us a little bit warmer temperatures into our Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. I know a lot of folks excited about that. Some folks asking if we're going to be dealing with a frosty morning tomorrow. Yes, with temperatures being as low as they are and that little bit of moisture that we have, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see some frosty windshields heading into our forecast on our Tuesday, but nonetheless, should be a great day overall if we can wear enough layers to allow us to enjoy it. So coming up in the next 60, we're talking about an extreme cold forecast moving into the rest of this week, but really into next week. But what we all have circled on our calendar, that's going to be that weekend winter weather potential. Tracking that in full detail here in the Room to Room Weather Center in the next 60 for Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
Out with the old and in with the new. It's time to save big at Room to Room's New Year's sale. Store-wide markdowns 50 to 70% off. No tax. 48-month special financing. It's a new year at Room to Room Furniture in Tupelo. There's no place like home.
Hate is loud, but love is the majority.
Hi, my name is Rosie. Regional Rehab Center helps kids like me by offering speech therapy, occupational therapy, and dyslexia therapy. Your support helps so many of us get what we need to grow and succeed. Please help the Rehab Center.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
Well, the auroras did try to show up, unfortunately did not get this far south, and this was the extent of what we saw in our night sky. Abby submitting this photo in Fulton. Might look like it has some colors in the picture. Unfortunately, that's just your night sky with some high exposure. You can do that with any phone, I was informed, Android and Apple. So go ahead and download that Mississippi Live Weather app and then snap a photo, send it to us, and we'd love to show that off. And Abby, thank you for submitting this photo. A great looking sky out there in Itawamba County. Nonetheless, if we look around the area right now, a much darker forecast, being that nightfall has fully set in. 36 degrees in Wynona, of course, a cold forecast, but those temperatures continue to drop overnight as a few locations already seeing the upper 20s. Macon, just on the outskirts of that with 30 degrees, and all in all, not a bad looking sky. So hang on a second. Did you see that at the top of the screen? I think that might have been a shooting star. That's crazy. Ooh, we all witnessed that. Okay, I'm going to watch this back. Let me know in the chat if I am crazy because I might have not gotten enough sleep last night, but that was cool. That was so cool. Okay, maybe we get lucky on that. Noxubee County showing out. Saltillo, you want to give us something? Yeah, no, unfortunately, we're looking too low. But either way, 30 degrees, Lee County. That was so cool. I really want someone to solidify what I saw in the chat. Please let me know because I really feel like I was insane and might have saw something that did not happen. Either way, 30 degrees in Lee County. Temperatures, the forecast tonight and carrying over into our Tuesday as well. Our Mama Justice Doppler radar not tracking a drop of rainfall or a drop of any type of precipitation. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I know what we're all paying attention to. I saw how many folks are in the show tonight, and I know what we're all kind of eagerly waiting on. We'll touch on that here in just a moment, but I want to still focus on what we're experiencing overnight, and that is those cold temperatures already starting to settle into North Mississippi, highlighting a few of those locations. Upper 20s already being seen in Hernando, even for folks in Marshall, Benton, and Tippah County. 30 degrees Corinth, 31 Tupelo, and then a few locations still above that freezing mark. That's going to be Grenada at 33, Louisville 35, and Chula closer to 35 as well. If we expand things out, we can see that there is extreme cold up towards our north, so those northerly winds definitely bringing in some of that cold, frigid air. St. Louis currently at 11, Lexington 16, Kansas City right around that same margin. So with these northerly winds still in the forecast, we're getting all of this air being blown into North Mississippi, and that's why it is just such a cold forecast. Below average for sure, and will continue to be so into the start of our Tuesday. 26 degrees by midnight, 21 there by 6 a.m. I'm going to check. Okay, everyone's solidifying it. Guys, we saw a shooting star. I'm pretty sure that we saw a shooting star. So North Mississippi Storm Chasers making camera at about 10:08, 09, you got a shooting star. So that was a pretty cool thing. I'm glad we were all here to witness that together. 21 degrees 6 a.m., a cold start heading out the door, but high pressure at least keeps our skies dry, not expecting a drop into our Tuesday forecast. Even as we get into those early morning commuting hours, yes, it's still going to be that dry pattern, so don't need to worry about any of that. Maybe a little thin layer of frost forming on the windshield, so either way, go ahead and get that car prepped early and of course crank it and make sure that you're good to go once you're ready to head out the door. But I think it'd be worthwhile to go ahead and head out early, get that car going, and stay warm as you go about that morning commute. 19 degrees Holly Springs, Water Valley, Bruce, and Boonville. So teens, not an impossibility. Below 20s for the rest of us with 20 in Tupelo, New Albany, Oxford, Houston, 21 Eupora, 22 Macon. I'm going to keep my eyes on Macon tonight. 25 Belzona and Greenwood. It's just a cold forecast. Luckily, wind's going to be relatively tame, so that's not going to allow wind chill to play too much of a factor. We're still feeling like the low 20s heading out the door. Let's go ahead and track Futurecast into our Tuesday. And one of the things that we are watching is high pressure moving out and how long it takes for that moisture to move back in. So Tuesday, overall, you can see high pressure continuing to nudge out there towards the east. And as you can see, taking a large part of that moisture with it. As we drag this out, we're talking lunchtime hour of our Tuesday, still seeing those mostly clear conditions. Whenever you get this layer of cloud cover that kind of has that diagonal orientation or that elongated orientation, that's basically some cirrus clouds that are developing on our Futurecast. So that's not going to be those dense clouds that develop. These are going to be more thin and high up in the atmosphere, but that's the extent of what we're seeing on our Tuesday. Other than that, sunny skies, going to be a beautiful forecast for sure. Tuesday afternoon, still seeing those great conditions stick around. Breezy conditions already starting to build on the back end of the day as those winds shift to more of a southerly flow compared to what we're getting right now in a northerly flow. So either way, Tuesday, going to be cold all day long, no matter which way the winds blow. 43 degrees Corinth, Iuka, and Boonville. 48 Vernon, Alabama. And as we look out west, we're seeing low 50s Grenada, Greenville, Greenwood, and Kosciuszko. So some areas better than others, but nonetheless, we're all sitting below our normal for this time of year. Now let's track Tuesday night into your Wednesday. And as you can see, the southerly flow matters. Why does it matter? Well, the southerly winds bring in that Gulf moisture that's going to return the moisture here to North Mississippi. So what you're starting to get is some of those showers starting to form out southwest into Houston and Dallas, Texas. Those showers kind of setting the precedent moving forward as all of that moisture starts to build further north and really into that Louisiana, Arkansas, and Mississippi area. That's what we're watching for any of those scattered showers that form on our Wednesday. As early as Wednesday morning, might I add. So Wednesday morning's commute, not going to be as dry, and for a few locations, light showers already starting to move in place. As we bring it back into the area, Wednesday morning, low temperatures going to feel much better than Tuesday's low temperatures because of that moisture in the forecast. So there are some positives that we're going to get with the moisture. Unfortunately, there are some negatives too, and that's going to be rain chances moving into the rest of our Wednesday. 29 Tupelo, 30 Water Valley, 34 Cleveland, Clarksdale, and 35 there towards Belzona. Now, if we keep this Futurecast moving and allow me to expand it out one more time, you can see that the moisture continues to build into the area. Now, we do have that southerly flow that's allowing for the moisture to build over the top of North Mississippi, but then we're getting a lifting mechanism with this cold front moving across North Mississippi on the latter part of our Wednesday. So those two things working together, that's why we have a heightened chance of some scattered showers on our Wednesday, especially by the afternoon with some moderate showers, not an impossibility. So allow me to bring it back in here to North Mississippi so we can get a better visual on this. But as you can see, those yellows that are showing up, that's going to be that heavy rainfall that we're watching, but not expecting storms. These temperatures, not exactly part of an unstable atmosphere. So at most, light to moderate showers, and that's the extent of our Wednesday chances that we're going to get. Carrying that over into the back half of our Wednesday, still seeing some of those yellows popping up, so it's not an impossibility to get some of those moderate showers, but not going to see anything too overwhelming or too heavy to deal with. 47 Oxford on our Wednesday afternoon, 52 Houston, Amory, 54 Starkville, and 50 around Hamilton, Alabama. So it is going to be slightly warmer, even into our Wednesday compared to our Tuesday and honestly compared to what we got today. But if we look at those rain chances though, that's the big point in our forecast because I almost want to say these are precipitation chances because it's not just rainfall moving over the next several days. We have 40% coverage Wednesday, 30 Thursday and Friday as those scattered chances linger around. But then we get into Saturday, and honestly, it could begin Friday night as well. That's when we're getting that winter weather potential moving into that extended forecast. And as we take a look right here, bear with me while I clear this out, and we are going to go in our Mississippi Live Weather exclusive snow finder. I want to show that off in a little bit more detail because we are getting the latest on those runs. And so as I pull this up here and drag it out, actually I think we're good. I think we're good on pause points. So let's go ahead and walk through it. So this is a look as we go into the rest of this week. And you might note Tuesday, it's going to be dry, so we're not worried about any type of precipitation. Moving into our Wednesday, that's where we get rain chances into the forecast. So if we swap this over to Rain Finder, we would definitely have some percentages on there. And honestly, some higher end percentages as those scattered showers work their way on through. That shows basically the confidence level. And confidence is, of course, going to be higher on Wednesday's rain chances than Saturday's potential wintry mix. And because why that is because rain chances, we're 48 hours out from those rain chances, so we're going to be a little bit higher as short-range model runs are in place, but also rain chances are a little bit more common in North Mississippi. So one of the things that our atmosphere and our environment has to transition into is the right ingredients for that winter weather to form. So as we get going into our Thursday night and really into our Friday, this is where we could get that potential to start to increase. And bear with me, I'm going to expand this out just a bit. And as you can see, we are starting to get some of that out there in the Midwest, building into the area, and even up north where we already have some of those accumulations taking place. So lots of areas surrounding us that are already getting that snow, but our chance will move in by the afternoon. Take a look right here. On our scale, it's not a high margin, but still 10 to 20% chances are there at getting any of those flakes to form here in North Mississippi. Now, one note with this forecast, and one of the things that we're going to show off tomorrow, is this is primarily Snow Finder. We also have Ice Finder and Rain Finder that we're going to air again tomorrow night with the latest on those model runs. But one of the big things with that forecast is this snow? Is this ice or is this rainfall? It could be all three of those. It could be just one of them. And that's what we're paying attention to in that extended pattern is what is the consistency on this and what exactly is it continue to try to show up. Now, one of the big notes is the further north you get, the higher that likelihood is, going to about 30%. And so we're paying attention to the highest snowfall threat going to be up there towards Tennessee, Arkansas, and even for the Tennessee state line, especially into our Saturday where that threat continues to climb. One of the things of note, look at the accumulation totals. We're talking over 4 inches for the Midwest and potential for some of those totals to reach us here in North Mississippi, or not North Mississippi, but up around Tennessee and northern Arkansas. But the potential's there, and that's the big thing we're looking at. And consistency has been there as well. So this has been a forecast that I know folks have had circled whenever we first shared the news earlier on this morning, and of course continuing that coverage into that extended forecast as well. Now, questions, they are still in place. We're hoping that those can be answered as we get into that extended pattern, but one thing that's not a question is how cold it's going to be. Look at high temperatures on Saturday. Guys, we're not getting above freezing. So one of the big notes with this forecast is whatever falls, with temperatures being as cold as they are, the potential for maybe some refreeze possibility is in the forecast as well, because Saturday not getting above freezing, Sunday only 1 degree above freezing, and then Monday only 39 degrees, and that's above freezing. But you know, if what happens is on the higher side of the output, well, then that's definitely a forecast to pay attention to. And if you look at lows, we're talking 23 Saturday, 20 on Sunday, 17 on Monday. I want to say, be very flexible with these temperatures right here because these could go even lower as soon as your Tuesday morning with meteorologist Maggie McCauley. So pay attention to that because those cold temperatures, those extreme cold temperatures are going to be dangerous in their own right. So heading into your Friday, all the way into the start of next week, we need to have that entire range circled because we are talking about extreme conditions, whether that be with the potential of a wintry mix or just the freezing temperatures or both. Again, a lot of questions still in place, and we're hoping that we can get some more answers as we get into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then, of course, heading into the potential event on our Friday and Saturday. So potential's there right now, but consistency is what we need as we get into this pattern. And I know there's a lot of folks in the chat that are either team snow, team no snow, whichever team you're on. Mother Nature does her own thing, and one of those is going to happen as we get into that extended forecast. So we thank you guys for having or for joining us tonight, even on top of the big game. For anyone that was watching or wants to know the outcome, well, Kurt Signetti is smiling, so that should tell you a little something. They won, I believe it's 27-21, so shout out the Hoosiers on top. What a story. And Mendoza, it just adds to the awards on the mantle, so I know mom and dad are happy for him. Either way, great season. College football officially wrapped up, and now it's transfer portal season, and you know how that goes. All right, guys, I have kept you long enough. It's 10:20. I know it's Monday night, so I'm going to let you guys get some rest, but make sure to wake up bright and early with meteorologist Maggie McCauley. She will have the latest on this forecast once we get into, actually, let me say this real quick. So Marianne said this just a moment ago. She said, team snow for Saturday and Sunday and gone by Monday. So if you're a teacher or a student, I know that you're wanting it to stay around until Monday. My wife, she's a middle school teacher over at Boonville. She keeps asking me, Gabe, is it going to extend into Monday if anything does happen? Again, a lot of questions still in place in regards to the magnitude of this. But if it were to be, if what happens, and it is some wintry mix, then we could see that carry over into Sunday and potentially even Monday, being that temperatures are below that freezing mark. So still a lot of questions in place, but how long would it last? That's also a question that we're looking at as we get closer to that day 2 or day 3 time frame, if this consistency continues to verify it. So I know a few folks in chat, team snow for Thursday and Monday. I know my wife is rooting for that as well. So get your milk and bread. Not fully there yet, but my wife, she did ironically get milk today. So that tells you anything. I'm just kidding. We just need a grocery run. Either way, you guys have a great night. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And again, we will be active all week long. Our broadcast schedule, of course, at 5, 6, and 10 on those evening hours, and at 6:37 and 7:30 heading into those morning hours. And you're going to want to stay tuned using that Mississippi Live Weather app. The QR code's on the bottom of your screen, so we appreciate you guys downloading that and staying updated with us and trusting us here on Mississippi Live Weather. I can promise you, we're not going to hype anything up or clickbait you. We're going to be honest and share the truth. And the potential's there, but in regards to what to expect, we'll have that further aligned as we get into this week. Our next broadcast, like I mentioned, with meteorologist Maggie McCauley at 6:37 and 7:30. And we will be back. Chief Meteorologist Matt Laupon and I, 5, 6, and 10. Can't wait to see you guys there. And of course, stay warm tomorrow. Get that warm cup of coffee. And then we will see you guys back here tomorrow evening as well. So we can't wait to see you there. Have a good night. Go Hoosiers, I guess. And have a terrific Tuesday.
Even though Gabe grew up in Alabama, Mississippi has now become his home and his family. And one thing about Gabe is he keeps his family safe.